You can wake me up when September ends, or you can wake me up for a volleyball game. Either way, we're glad to have you with us on SEC. Suburban East Conference Volleyball, White Bear Lake and Mounds View. The Bears trying to end a lengthy losing streak against the Mustangs and pick up their 10th win of the year. And now it's time to say I'm Mike Beaton. Glad you could join us. And from the looks of it, as you can see, I'm not the only one checking out this matchup. White Bear Lake, as we noted, 9-4. Mounds View 6-5. The Bears winning their last 2 games. Recently competed in the Greyhound Invitational. Won all but the last game in that match. And they have a couple of ranked opponents remaining, along with another weekend tournament down in Burnsville for the Twin Cities Challenge. We will talk more about the matchup and who to look for following the playing of our Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem. And now with the pleasantries almost concluded, they're introducing the starters. We mentioned White Bear Lake, winners of their last 2. With regard to their section and the conference, they did run into some headwinds against the likes of Eastridge and Roseville, who are typically among the stronger performers in the Suburban East. And they have a couple of ranked foes, including Cretin-Durham Hall 2 days from now, one of the top teams in Class 3A. And Irondale, even though their record is under 500, they are among the best in 4A. Irondale on the way up. Mounds View started the year 1-2, then they won the next 4. They've lost 3 of the last 4, but they did score victory against Irondale. That's Tom Wecko, the head coach for Mounds View. And as we turn the calendar to October, even though it feels like summer outside, that means one thing. Just a couple of weeks to go in the regular season. So section seating is on the line. That's Mackenzie Leverty, the head coach for White Bear Lake. And if the season were to end today, White Bear Lake and Mounds View in the same section. So this is not just a conference game, but it may have some bearing on section seeding. Although White Bear Lake in position to at least host a first round game, as it stands right now, they still have yet to face Stillwater. But White Bear Lake would be the 3 seed, which would mean they would host a quarterfinal game. Here's a look at the conference standings, and Cretin-Durham Hall and Stillwater undefeated. Of course, it won't stay that way. They will play each other, and that eventually will change. But Cretin-Durham Hall, the top-ranked team in the conference, number 6 in 3A, they've got a good chance of making it to the state tournament in that group. And I am trying to understand, comprehend, figure out the significance of Bart. I believe that's how you say it. And I'm looking up and down at the roster for White Bear Lake, and I don't see anyone that would resemble the name Bart. All right, I'll stop while I'm ahead. Maybe they're talking about that guy who just left the frame. Maybe that's his nickname. Maybe that's the name of the mascot. I have no idea. As we said in the open, Mounds View has dominated this series over the last 10 years. White Bear Lake was able to play them to a 5-setter a few years ago, but not only has Mounds View dominated, but for quite a while, as you can see, up through 2020, they won in straight sets. White Bear Lake wouldn't mind ending that streak and starting a new one. Mounds View, if the season were to end today, ranked 5th in Section 4 4A. This is based on QRF. And they have all the records up to date, but Mounds View would have a taller hill to climb. They are battling Tartan, though, to host that first round game. As it stands right now, those two would likely play each other, but whoever gets the 4 spot would host that first round game. Stillwater, the number 1 seed. They are going to be the tough out in that group. Lakeville South leading the state in the Class 4A rankings. A slightly different look after all those years of Wyzetta steamrolling the competition. But the Lakeville schools historically have been a power in the sport of volleyball. White Bear Lake and Mounds View haven't been part of that conversation in a while, but let's see what happens as they try to start a conversation here, and it will begin with an ace for Riley Loewen, the 5-9 setter. Another solid serve for Loewen. White Bear Lake catches up to it. Mustangs with a free ball. Loewen moves up, two-handed tap, picked up by the Bears. We'll get names and numbers as we make our way through. There is a misfire by Brooklyn Gispers, and that's the first point for White Bear Lake. That's Maddie Pearson who will come in to serve as we get a second look from our floor cam. And the service error on the Bears will hand control back to Mounds View. That's Gispers. Quick set and a score. That is the foreign exchange student from Italy, Martina Caligari. With the off-speed cut, left to right. Caligari came in during week 1 of tryouts. I understand she will be heading back in the winter, but part of a long line, not at this school specifically, as we get a service ace from Addison Lee. The first for the Bears, but many teams over the years throughout schools across the metro have fielded foreign exchange students in their athletic programs, and it's always a great sight to see. Mounds View scoring. Off the block, that is Lena Weimer. For Mounds View, Victoria Kurlov is their top player. She will play college volleyball at Green Bay. That is Annika Johnson serving for the Bears, or Mustangs, I should say. Net violation. And the point to White Bear Lake. As you know, the net cannot be touched in any capacity. We'll see if we can get a look at it here. Tough to tell. May have been a mid-court violation. The net, the half-court line, none of that can be crossed. That was a fantastic bump set spike play that ends with a Kurlov point. This is June Wise. Serve receive went up into the ceiling, but back down. And Caligari throws it down. Italy known as the boot over in Europe because the country's shape does look like a boot. Sicily is the southern point of that so-called boot. Now Mounds having to play it off that ceiling. Most gyms, as you know, don't have high clearances. Mounds comes up with the block. White Bear Lake can't catch up in time. I believe Kurlov, who is listed at 6'2", got the block. Mounds and White Bear Lake trading points in this first set. White Bear Lake going to the left side, and nobody there to pick up the deflection, so Pearl Niamioya, that's how you say it, scores her first kill of this game. Kaylee Gieske, the libero. Into the net she goes. Second service error for the Bears. There's the 6'2" Kurlov, the tallest player on the Mounds U roster. Weimer also 6'2", so I guess they share that distinction, and the two sides trade service errors. Layla Otto now serving. And she picks up her first ace. Otto, the sophomore. Mounds U picks this one up. They go to the left side. A cross-court shot for Brooklyn Gisbers. And neither side able to gain much separation. We've been trading points here and there, even at 7, but still a long way to go. White Bear Lake attacking the left side, and Mounds U can't pick up the dig in time. Lewin needed a little more hop, but Reagan Farmer gets on the board. Now Mounds U works the right side, and scoring the teardrop is Gisbers. Given the flow of this game so far, a run would be huge as White Bear Lake scores again. Caligari has 3 kills. Bears again. Took the lead, but not for long. And it's that woman who played a part, Lena Weimer. That's her second kill. She'll rotate out. Again, that has to do with where you are on the position chart, not necessarily an indication of talent or viability. Gisbers with the dig. Caligari picks one of her own up. Mounds U has another chance. One of the longer rallies, Caligari again. She came in week 1 of tryouts, and it's clear she is an integral part of White Bear Lake's offense. I've got her down at 4 kills already. And if you're Mackenzie Leverty, you're probably thinking, is there a way we can keep her next year? That's how it works, though, with foreign exchange students that come here for a year and then they go back to their home country. A little more culturally wiser. Misfire by the Mustangs. Grilling on the hitting error. And for the first time today, White Bear Lake has a lead of more than 1. Inside the line, Abby Meyer gives White Bear Lake their 3rd ace. And now our first run. Meyer, the senior. Service Eve nearly went into the ceiling. Leween had to adjust. White Bear Lake has a good chance here. And they cash in. Layla Otto, her first kill. And the Bears, I believe, have scored 6 in a row. Good serve. Initially, I thought someone was going to get it for Mounds View, but the serve receive was caromed to no woman's land, and by the time Mounds View realized it, they couldn't do anything to stop Abby Meyer from earning her 2nd ace. Timeout, Mounds View, their first of 2, as you know. Each team gets 2 per set. But White Bear Lake putting together a lengthy run after trading points to start this first set. That mascot is proving to be the most stoic spectator in the crowd. He or she, whoever's in there, has been watching this one intently. Maybe our polar bear is mesmerized by the service ability of Abby Meyer. That's the Mounds View JV team. Strutting along, and they just realized they're on camera, and now they're hamming it up even more. You love to see it. But don't put the camera on me, you will regret it. I am the ham of all hams, the king of all hams. Abby Meyer with another fantastic serve. Free ball for the Bears. Meyer to Caligari. You bet. Caligari, unofficially 5 kills in the first set, and White Bear Lake, after trading points, taking command in set 1. They still have a couple of top foes in Tweed Durham Hall and Stillwater, but Meyer and Caligari in particular are forming up as the Bears tear it up. Ace number 3 for Abby Meyer. And this run has come with Meyer in the service position. Play at the net, White Bear Lake able to get the block, but not a great attacking position. Mounds View, they really need a point here. And they'll get one on the teardrop. That will get Meyer out of the service spot, and that will get Alian Grelling onto the board with her first kill. That was a solid squeeze play on the part of Grelling, the 5'9" senior, who plays outside. Wise. Meyer to Caligari. That combination has worked out before. Meyer, one of the setters for White Bear Lake. Now she goes left, where Caligari is. And the dig turns into a kill for the libero, Annika Johnson. That's worth another look. Sometimes those caroms have such a hard kickback. The other team isn't prepared for it. The rare libero kill. And then Wise puts that one in the net. Mounds had a chance to put a run together, but those libero kills, I liken them to goalie goals in lacrosse or handball in particular. It's soccer. I guess it's possible, but far more unlikely. Caligari showing off her service flair. Meyer to the left side. Caligari has to be in the back row. White Bear Lake puts it out of bounds. Niemioya will be charged with the error. Just the first for the Bears, though. Bears still lead by 6. Long serve. Bears pick it up. Meyer to Otto. Mounds had to catch up. Free ball for the Bears. They go to the middle. The squeeze play is sent back. They gave that one to Whispers, I think. That one into the net. That is an error on Caligari. You've heard it a couple of times. That is the mic bouncing off the antenna. Let serve. Meyer able to pick it up. White Bear Lake having trouble from the middle. Kurlov on the play. But Maya Link having difficulty wedging those balls up the middle, and Mounds back within 3. Meyer goes right. 50-50 ball. And Mounds ends up bumping it past the antenna. As you know, the ball has to be within the antenna for it to count. And that could be a tough break. There's still time. Mounds trying to work the way back after trailing by 7. More frenetic action. White Bear Lake sent away. They keep the ball in play though. To the pin. The save won't get there. It's been a while since I've had a chance to call volleyball, but in the opening week of the season, as we get a service error on Kurlov, I covered a Blaine Duluth East game that saw some wild swings. With Raleigh scoring, you just never know. Mounds slices one down the corner. Weimer with her 3rd kill unofficially. Mounds back within 3, trying to rally their way through. And they get 1 point closer. On the point by Gisbers. Gisbers squeezing that one between the block. White Bear Lake gets one back. Reagan Farmer. Big difference so far. White Bear Lake, a 5-1 advantage in aces. Center dump, first attempt of the game. White Bear Lake reads it. Caligari, some success earlier in this set. Mounds View win off speed, but not enough. Not a ton of errors, but that could be a costly one. White Bear Lake leads 22-18, closing in on a set 1 win as they gem up Mounds View. Maddie Pearson, good serve, and the Mustangs will use their second and final timeout of the set. White Bear Lake just needs 2 more to capture set number 1. And according to the unofficial stats, aces making a huge difference. White Bear Lake with 5, Mounds View with just 1. And that has been enough to outpace the Mustangs, even though they have a slight edge in kills. Again, this is based on the unofficial tally. No other major differences between the two sides, but Mounds View does have a few more errors than White Bear Lake in both hitting and service. So it's a combination of several factors adding up, and even a slight difference of 1 or 2 can make the difference when you look back on sets and how they factor into the outcome of the game. Caligari picked up by Spur. Mounds View with a hard slam. White Bear Lake won't catch up to it. Gispers again. And once more with gyms like White Bear Lake, and most gyms really, unless you play in a field house, they don't have high clearances, which means those hard ups and serve receives can go into the ceiling. And all mayhem can break loose after that. Pass was slightly off. Mounds View gets a free ball, and they cash in once more. Weimer again makes it 23-20. Mustangs out of timeouts. Responding valiantly, trying to work their way back. Great serve. And White Bear Lake jammed up again. They'll hold on to their timeouts for now. But the Mustangs have scored 3 in a row. Not a good time for a service error. The first on Gispers. Now Mounds View not out of it. They only trail by 3. But White Bear Lake, 1 more, and they take set 1. And they'll get it on the block. Caligari, I think, was on there. So was Link, and White Bear Lake, in a touch of coincidence, captures set 1 on a block. They had to sweat a little bit for it, but they do take the first set as they try to end that lengthy losing streak to Mounds View.
Is more prepared for an emergency than Dogman.
With all your kung fu skills and your canine fortitude or whatnot.
But for the rest of us, a good plan goes a long way.
Come on, let's go!
So, whether it's an unexpected disaster or the world's most evilest cat bent on destroying all do-gooders,
Destroy all do-gooders!
you can help your family be ready for anything.
No time to waste. Will you get out of here?
Get started today at ready.gov/kids.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old. So it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundidouttogether.org.
There I was, 16, divorced, remarried with a baby, another on the way, and I could barely read or write. Getting my high school diploma was a catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor's, a master's, and I became a teacher. When I look at all these success stories, I could not help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
White Bear Lake taking set 1 over Mounds View. And White Bear Lake doing this even though Mounds View had a slightly stronger attack in terms of kills. Unofficially, Mounds View with 13, White Bear Lake with 9. But as we look at the first half highlights, a big advantage for the Bears was the service game. 5 aces to 1 for Mounds View. Errors also a factor. Mounds View 4 service errors, 3 hitting errors unofficially. White Bear Lake 2 and 2. Caligari was a motor early on in the first set. A lot of points traded between the two as we get ready to start set number 2. White Bear Lake jumped out to a 7-point lead thanks to a stretch of 6-7 in a row, fueled by Abby Meyer, who had 3 aces. In that span. And that was the libero kill by Annika Johnson that helped Mounds View work their way back into contention, but White Bear Lake was able to fend them off. And if anyone's watching this on the live stream or can relay a text to one of the spectators, if you want to explain what barred means, I'd be happy to find out. Mounds View starts the second set with a cross-court kill from the future Phoenix, Victoria Kurlov, whose presence in the first set was limited, just a couple of kills unofficially. Even though White Bear Lake, or I should say Mounds View, had several. Hitting wasn't the problem. It was the miscues that got him. Like one of the officials hadn't put his equipment in place yet. This is Abby Ruby, entering the game for Mounds View, serving. Caligari blocked. White Bear Lake keeps it in play. That's Gispers, who will score off the block. No, it's overturned. Let's see if this replay can tell us something. From what I can tell, my best guess is that the ball brushed Spurs' jersey, made contact in some capacity. White Bear Lake with a net violation. So Mounds View takes a 2-1 lead. But on that replay we showed you, the ball may have come into contact with Spur, and I didn't see it because it happened so quickly. Good chance here for the Mustangs. Big block by the Bears. Mounds View will have to try again. They go to Weimer, and she has been money in this game so far. She and Gispers in particular leading the attack for the Mustangs. Otto couldn't catch up to the Gisper strike in time. A collision on the set, and that usually spells trouble. Giske and Otto bumping into each other, and that generally doesn't pan out. But that does. Caligari, who had 5 kills unofficially in the first set, works really well in that front row. And here is Abby Meyer. Can she lace a few more aces or a few more tricky serves? We'll find out as White Bear Lake scores on the Weimer hitting error. Mounds View finds a space in between. And Brooklyn Gisbers, the 5'10 senior, has done a lot of that. One of several in the starting lineup. Last ride for a bunch of the green and white crew. Caligari with a punch, setter dump, but Mounds View went over the line. Caligari back to serve. Lewin to Weimer. White Bear Lake picking that one up. Lewin to the middle this time. Alyssa Gaynor, the junior, scores. Wedge that one just outside the block. Johnson serving. Meyer to the middle. Mounds View on top of that one. Meyer going to the left side. Mounds View with another up. Now Niemioya getting one. Caligari from the back row. The Italian Stallion. Mounds View called for 4 touches, which is a break for the Bears because, as you saw, 2 players collided again. And that could have proven problematic. Running tap by Grelling. Caligari from the back row again. Johnson had to dive for that dig. Now Meyer to Niemioya. Another laser. White Bear Lake able to save it. Free ball for the Mustangs. Weimer once more. Just like the first set, we have another neck-and-neck start. It was the middle part that gave White Bear Lake the separation they needed. We're even though, at the moment, following the service error by June Wise. Low serve. Mounds View able to get under it. Niemioya sent back. She'll try once again. And that's her first kill of this set. Otto's in there, and she serves it out of bounds. Watching this game, as we are even at infinity, both teams running a 5-1, although White Bear Lake does have a pair of setters. They typically don't share the floor together. Leween to Kurlov. Anju retakes the lead as you take another look on that last play. Niemioya from the right side. A vicious liner. And Pearl, the junior, she'll check out, but gets a couple to go through. That could be helpful. Here's Maddie Pearson. Just went over the net. Block stayed in play. Oh! Caligari able to save it, but Mounds with a free ball. Leween to the right side. Kurlov at a tough angle. Now they go left. And Gispers will score off the block. Caligari. Here's on the move again. Caligari once more. Leween to Gispers. Yes. Gispers proving to be a steady hand. She had 5 kills unofficially in the first set. 3 here. Leween to Gispers once again. The off-speed shot pays off. Gispers with 3 straight kills for the Mustangs. (12-9). White Bear Lake will get a point back on the error by Ruby. The attacking game for Mounds U has been on point. They're able to lace a bunch of balls into holes. But White Bear Lake's service game, that was their advantage in the first set. And Addison Lee is able to net one with an assist from that ceiling that we spoke of earlier. Another line drive. Gispers again. Brooklyn Gispers firing up in the second set. Setter dump as Otto was in a tough spot. Caligari, big up. Otto gets one for the Bears. Caligari slightly off speed. Mounds U able to catch up to it. Gispers. Geske with the up. Caligari again. Will get the off-speed shot to work as the dig sailed over everyone and went out of play. hitting error on Gispers. She could not get it to cross. And we are even at 13. And White Bear Lake does the same. Interesting story as Gisper serves that out of bounds. That's not how I wanted to segue the context, but Gisper's originally played at White Bear Lake before transferring to Mounds View. Loween to Weimer. And that time, Mounds View finds the mark. Gispers played at White Bear Lake last year, made the switch to Mounds View. That adds another layer of context into this conference matchup. Big serve by Johnson, the ball. Pinballs around the ceiling and down it goes. Nia Mioya couldn't catch up in time. Once in a while you'll see a ball sail up into the ceiling struts and plinko around up there. Plinko bounce, I should say. And that becomes even trickier to read. That went off of Giske, and that's a block for the Mustangs. Timeout Bears. Let's see if we can get another look at that. As Mounds View is up by 3 in a set where neither side has pulled out to a big lead, but White Bear Lake doesn't want to lose momentum here in the middle part of this second set. Here's the replay. Kurilov and Weimer, the two towers, teaming up there. It's the last day of September, but SEC has a few games scheduled for you in October. It's the final week of the regular season for high school soccer. Playoffs begin next week. But we'll be with you on Friday for a summary October showdown. Matabidi and Tartan, two longtime rivals. And then you'll see me again at Tartan as they take on Matabidi in volleyball. And we'll follow that up with Woodbury and White Bear Lake in football. Of course, with fall playoffs starting in soccer, service error on Johnson, we will keep you up to date on any playoff games we are able to cover on SEC. Tape delay, of course. The service errors have been a trouble spot for Mounds View. That's their fourth of this set. Giske had to retrieve the ball as it rolled into the circular tunnel that surrounds Galvin Court. And maybe Giske wants to do more of that because she adds another ace. White Bear Lake not as successful to this point in the service game, but a couple of points, one on a service error, one on an ace, bring them back within one. Like we said, there hasn't been much separation between these two, but the high free ball goes right back to Grelling, and she knew exactly what to do with it. I do wonder, as this game continues, Mounds View, a stoic, solid, sound attack. Could that be enough to overtake White Bear Lake? We shall see. Layla Otto with her first kill of this set. They had a strong start in their hitting game, Caligari in particular. The second set has been a little trickier to generate offense for White Bear Lake. As Otto goes to serve, that's a low one. Johnson able to get under it in time. Free ball for the Bears. Otto moves back to her set position. Mia Mioya, high. Loeen to Gispers. That was Kurilov. Either way, it's a point for Mounds View on the error by White Bear Lake. They were stuck near the net, and any volleyball player knows this. When you're right at the net, it's hard to get that arc, get over that clearance. It's still a close one in set 2. That's Gispers. Giski with the dig. At the net, Gispers again. Giski another up. Mia Mioya scores. White Bear Lake looking for their 3rd straight win. Although they really need to score a couple of big ones on CDH and Stillwater to try to move up in the section rankings. Mounds View, a win for them, and the odds of hosting a first-round game go a little higher. And Gispers brings them one step closer. Gispers with a terrific second set. As we see her utilize the off-speed stroke once more. Gispers 6 kills unofficially in set 2. Mounds View holding on to a small lead. They'll have a chance to extend it, and they do. Loeen to Gaynor. And while I can't give you hit percentage, my mental capacity is not that pronounced. Mounds View, they have recorded 14 kills unofficially in set 2. And that will win you plenty of games if you don't give up too many points on errors and other miscues. And as we can tell so far, that hasn't been the case. White Bear Lake using their last timeout of this set. Remember, Mounds View they outpaced White Bear Lake in kills. In the first set, what did them in were the errors. And the other difference, Mounds View doesn't have any aces in this set, but White Bear Lake with just 2. Up by 3, make it 4. On the cross-court pass to who else? Brooklyn Gispers, the former Bear. Remember, she was on this White Bear Lake team a year ago. The switch to Mounds View. What precipitated it? I can't tell you. There could be a lot of factors in play, but Brooklyn Gispers giving Mounds View an extra edge in the second set. Tap down. But the point goes to White Bear Lake, as Riley Loeen was called for going over that center line. She's off screen, but she's talking to the official, the up ref, or R1. We only got the last bit of that conversation. Loeen is the designated captain. In volleyball, you may know this, only the designated captain can speak to the officials. Mounds View still up by 3, but that was a missed point for sure. And they'll have to work a little bit harder to take that second set. Good call out by the Bears as the ball ricocheted off the ceiling. Another free ball for the Mustangs. Loeen goes back to Gaynor. Sent away. Caligari and Link involved in the play. Mounds View using their first timeout of the second set. They still lead, but White Bear Lake within 2. Scouting volleyball games involves more guesswork than other sports. Not every team posts their stats online. These two don't, at least to any resources that we can access. So gauging this game ahead of time is about as scientific as picking Powerball numbers. But we're seeing a lot of close battles. The contrast between the two, White Bear Lake overall playing a cleaner game, not as many points conceded on errors, but Mounds View with the stronger attack has made a fight of this so far. Setter dump by Loeen, picked up by White Bear Lake, and Caligari makes this a 1-point game. Her 4th kill of the second set. And remember, Loeen had a tap down taken away because she went over the net. White Bear Lake with the save. Loeen to Gispers. Caligari unable to corral it. Mounds View has 1 timeout left in this set. 23-21. Caligari blocked, and Mounds View can take this second set on the next point. Alyssa Gaynor, the 6-foot junior, has chipped in some plays here and there, not as frequently as her teammates, but that could be a big one. Caligari, the up, Gispers. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. The former Bear closes out set 2 in favor of Mounds View. And we're going to be with you for a little while because we've got to play at least 2 more sets. We're even at 1.
Ollie, all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet. Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we are at our best, we have more to offer the world around us. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
The bravest person I know is my daughter, Cynthia.
My friend Sean, and he was in the Air Force.
One of the bravest things he ever did wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
It was when he asked to move in with me and my mom.
I felt like I was lost, and you gave me a place to stay.
She went on foreign soil. She went to war. But the bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
We had a ball toss contest during the set intermission, and one of those kids, I imagine, is the grand prize winner. We couldn't participate because we're on the other side of the action. I'm still Mike Beaton, and we are even at one set each. Identical scores, but the second set catalyst, the difference, the hitting game. Mounds View 17 kills unofficially. White Bear Lake with just 8. And for Mounds View, that was more than enough to overcome any miscues that came their way. Brooklyn Gisbers, the former White Bear Lake athlete, unofficially earned 9 kills in the second set. Came over to Mounds View this season and has brought a deft touch, at least in this game. It was another close battle, but White Bear Lake, without the help from their service game, unable to keep up. And again, this means we'll be with you for a couple more sets. How that shakes out will depend on Mounds View's ability to sustain their attacking game and White Bear Lake's ability to channel the service game or take advantage of miscues like they did in the first set. But the total points even so far between the two sides. And here's a look at the set clinching point by Gisbers, scoring on the line shot. Mounds View, located in Arden Hills. They renovated their competition gym a few years ago. Used to have a stage as part of it, but redid the facility. Of course, Galvin Court had its debut last year, the first full year that White Bear Lake was able to merge into one campus. And the confines here at White Bear Lake, I've done a few games here, give you a close-knit feel as we begin this third set with a hitting error. If you haven't picked up on it by now, the team's electing to stay on the same side. years ago during the COVID year. That was one of the parameters put in place. And in subsequent seasons, schools can either switch sides or stay where they are. Grelling scoring for the Mustangs. Here at White Bear Lake, I don't think it makes too much of a difference because the dimensions are symmetrical. Off speed. I should say center dump off speed hit. Mounds View picking up on it. But a more old-fashioned or traditional attack goes down for Martina Caligari, foreign exchange student from Italy. This will be her one and only season in the White Bear Lake program. And as I've noted before, I've had a chance to document several student athletes over the years. Loewen gets a setter dumped down for the Mustangs, catching an unsuspecting White Bear Lake off guard. Ruby serving. Caligari again. Ruby with the dig. Gispers. White Bear Lake gets the point. White Bear Lake bumping into the net. Or I should say Mounds View bumping into the net. Caligari unofficially now with 10 kills. And Gispers leading the Mustangs with 14. Again, these are unofficial totals. Meyer didn't get a chance to rip off a string of aces the last time she was in the service position, and she won't here as Gaynor finds the line. That was close, but Gaynor did get it inside. And Gaynor follows it up with a block. Gispers also involved in the play. Gaynor might be the unsung hero as Loewen collects a let ace, her second of this game. Meyer over to Otto. The two setters out on the floor together for White Bear Lake, but Meyer working as the primary. Another net violation, another point for White Bear Lake. They called it on number 9, and you can see the net move slightly. Gispers making contact with it. Hitting error on the Mustangs. Weimer trying to find the back row, instead knocks it out of bounds. Caligari follows that up with her first ace of the game. Again, White Bear Lake, I think, needs to step up that service game. That was their strong suit in the first set. I'm not sure they can hang with Mounds View if it's a game of attacks and kills. Another hitting error on the Mustangs as the attack by Gispers did not cross over the line. And Mounds View already with 3 errors. Remember, Mounds View had a few more. Point off the block for Weimer. They had a few more than White Bear Lake, particularly in the first set, and that made a difference. But thus far, another neck and neck beginning. Kurlov got a favorable serve. Lewin to Weimer into the net. And that is the 4th hitting error on Mounds View. As you know, with Raleigh scoring a point on every play, so those errors can add up. White Bear Lake augments another ace, the 3rd of the game for Addison Lee. Doesn't waste much time getting back into the wind-up motion. Lewin has to backpedal, attack from the back row. Nearly went down. Now White Bear Lake bangs one into the net. The first time Otto hits the net in this one. Pretty clean game for White Bear Lake with regard to errors. Meyer to Niemioya. That went over the net. Even though you may have heard the antenna, it did not make contact with it. Johnson. Mounds View saying it was touched. Instead, it will go down as a hitting error for Grelling. Let's take another look. That was close. A little tough to tell from that vantage point, but no doubter there for Kurlov. Low serve for June Wise, right in front of her target. That's a great way to pick up an ace. If you can land it just in front of your receiving target. But then she commits her 3rd service error, so as I say in Vegas and other communities of that nature, it would be a push. Lewin to Kurlov, and Kurlov pushes another kill in her column. Mounds View, they've been effective when they're able to get their attacks on target at finding spaces. Openings, gaps, lanes, all of that. Caligari on the line shot. And by my count, that is just the 2nd kill of the 3rd set for White Bear Lake. The way this is playing out, White Bear Lake, if they can't step up their attack, they may have to take advantage of those miscues for Mounds View. Gispers, another heater. Her first kill of the 3rd set. But Mounds View with a more potent attack. Remember, this is a game with section implications. Normally, Mounds View and White Bear Lake don't share the same section in most sports, but they do for volleyball. Caligari, no one there to pick up the deflection. While I can't give you much about her volleyball background in Italy, I would have to think she is highly fluent. I imagine she's learned a thing or two about English, and there is a sight White Bear Lake wants to see. Abby Meyer lands another ace, her 4th. Still a close one, though. Great serve received by Moundsview, and the setter dump by Loeen. That was a perfect serve receive. And Giske was nowhere close. Loeen spotting that. And she bumped it over her head. So I presume it required a degree of peripheral vision to locate. We have 13-12. The scoreboard has 14-12. Now it's up to date. White Bear Lake having to pinball a little bit. Gispers into the net, but over and down. Now it's 14-13. Keeping track of the score has been a little tricky sometimes, but no trick there for Loeen. She earns her third ace, and Moundsview with 3 in this set. They did not record a single ace in set 2, but they let the hitting do the work for them. And Loeen bonks that one into the net. So both Loeen and Wise end up with pushes. 1 ace, 1 service error. The largest lead has been 7 for either team in a set. The last couple, no one has led by more than 4. Moundsview got tripped up, and Stella Spur couldn't do much with it. You'll see it here. A slight misread by Weimer on the up, and you can see how that can affect an entire attack. But no problem that time for the Mustangs. Neither team has used a timeout yet. And we're getting to a stage in this third set where 1 run may be all you need. Gispers out of bounds on the serve. And remember what I said about errors. Right now, they're working against Moundsview. Addison Lee, not an ace in the traditional sense, but she does create another point as a result of it. That forces Moundsview to use a timeout. But unofficially, again, the errors are haunting Moundsview to a higher degree in this third set. 6 hitting errors, 3 service errors. White Bear Lake just 1 hitting error, no service errors. And remember what we said about rally scoring, a point in every play. Unofficially, that's 9 points for White Bear Lake. So even though the Bears only have 3 kills in this set, that's why they lead by 3, because you look at the points they have conceded, and they've only given up 1, and again, that's based on service errors or hitting errors. Moundsview giving up 9. Do the math, that's an 8-point swing. Loeen to Weimer. And that is how Moundsview is still in contention to take this third set. They boast a stronger hitting game. Mounds View with 10 or more kills in each set. White Bear Lake has not reached double digits in any set. But Weimer was looking for the off-speed bump down the line. Instead, she goes out of bounds for the third time. And the 7th hitting error on the Mustangs. Again, my stats are unofficial. Serve goes into the ceiling. Free ball for the Bears. Nia Mioya had a few kills in the second set. Lewin to Kurlov. Got it down. (19-17), still close. If Mounds View is able to overtake White Bear Lake and win this set, that could give them an emotional edge when you consider all the mishaps they would have to overcome. Nia Mioya picked up by Lee. Off-speed tap. Lewin to Kurlov again. 1-point game. White Bear Lake, a rare kill. Reagan Farmer showcasing her finesse. Pearson on the serve for White Bear Lake. From the back row, it's Gispers. Geske with the dig. Caligari down the line. 21-18. Caligari has been the one source of consistency offensively for the Bears. 13 kills overall. And the majority of White Bear Lake's points on the attack. Mounds View gets one back. From the future Phoenix, Victoria Kurlov, who has been quiet up till now, had just 2 kills in the first 2 sets, unofficially 5 here. That could go a long way. White Bear Lake looking to get out of this third set with the victory. And Caligari once again down the middle. Lewin to Gispers, hard hit, and Gispers will score off the block. Otto to Caligari. Lee was there, 22-20. Caligari again from Otto, this time brings the heat. Lewin set her dump. White Bear Lake with another chance. Otto not giving up on Caligari. Gaynor not giving up on Mounds View. Gaynor has provided an effective blocking presence. 1-point game. Caligari. Spur with the up, but a free ball coming. Overpass. And now Moundsy with the chance. Lewin to Gispers. You bet. As I said, if Mounds View could overtake White Bear Lake and win this set, third set, I should say, to go up 2-1, I think that would prove a turning point. Only time will tell. Here's a look at the White Bear Lake bench. Caligari has played for a few clubs in Italy. Before coming here as a foreign exchange student. Although the story right now could be the former White Bear Lake player, Brooklyn Gispers. A service error gives control back to White Bear Lake. As we said, Mounds View's attack, keeping them in this, but the errors mounting up and not in a good way. And Meyer in the service position. She has been dangerous. Gispers sent away. Caligari. That is kill number 6. White Bear Lake, 2 set points. Martina, you could say magnifico. And White Bear Lake hasn't won it yet. Gispers off speed. Caligari collects the dig. Otto cross court. Spurs there. Lewin trying to tap down the net ball. Caligari. Lewin to Gispers off speed. White Bear Lake did touch it. Oh no! Mounds View bumped it into the ceiling. And White Bear Lake takes set 3 in the wildest of fashions. They're 1 set away from victory, but can they find a way to contain Mounds View's attack? We'll have to keep an eye on that as we go to set 4. White Bear Lake, 1 set away from victory.
Mom, did you really need to buy 2 can openers for our emergency kit?
I can't help it. They're 2 for 1. What's this?
We need to keep our family communication plan safe in case of an emergency.
Thanks, Tita. Oh, man.
Well, good thing we kept all the lights we used for Diwali.
I've got the battery pack.
Keep my phone powered so we don't miss any alerts.
What about game night?
Sounds good.
Oh, we have to get to Mom and Dad's and get them somewhere safe. I've got the evacuation route loaded on my phone.
I've got an updated list of Dad's meds.
And I've got just what we need to get them to take this seriously.
If that doesn't convince them that we thought this through, I don't know what would.
Start a conversation with your family and plan together for emergencies.
Sit up, team. When I look around this room, I see a fighting team of brave antibodies. But the flu is coming in strong. The good news is, Anthony, the human we're tasked to protect, just got his flu shot, which supplied us with strong new gear to defend against the flu. So let's go fight for Anthony. Are you with me?
Let's work as a team to defend against the flu. Gear up with a flu shot to help protect others and reduce your risk of being sick or hospitalized with the flu. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
White Bear Lake up 2 sets to 1. And the story of the 3rd set. Errors coming back to bite Mounds View. Unofficially, they had 7 errors and 4 service errors. White Bear Lake, just 1 hitting error, no service errors. As a result, Mounds View, who had a much stronger attack, 15 kills to 7 for White Bear Lake, put themselves in a hole and they couldn't quite climb out of it. They were able to draw even late in the 3rd set. But all the mistakes went against them. Mounds View will have to put a lid on that to force a 5th and final set. They have the stronger hitting game. They can beat White Bear Lake on sets. But if they have too many errors, they could find themselves in trouble. Alina Gispers. Caligari picks up where she left off, had 6 kills in the 3rd set. I've got her at 16 overall. Loeen to Kurlov, and she's blocked. Caligari and Link. Looks like Caligari got the contact there. Link had slid over, but I think Caligari had it beat. Loeen set her dump. White Bear Lake saves it. Free ball coming. Loeen this time will go to Gispers. And Pearson, I think, stumbled ever so slightly. Wasn't able to direct it properly. Pearson reached out and then lost her balance. And I think that had affected or impacted her ability on the serve receive. But a long way to go. Caligari, a steady hand. Ball hangs up in the ceiling for a while. Caligari will get credit. The ball was touched. It looked that way from here in real time. As Mounds View makes a substitution. All part of a busy evening here at White Bear Lake. Miscommunication on Mounds View. Hayden Ratfield and Stella Spur were talking to each other, and I'm not sure either of them knew the ball was coming. Either that or they weren't sure who was going to pick it up. White Bear Lake off to a roaring start. Reagan Farmer makes it 5-1. As you saw, Johnson not able to do much with it. Mounds View gets a free ball over. Now it pinballs around. Caligari. She's been working it on the attack. And Mounds View picks up a much-needed point. Will be a point off the block for Caligari. White Bear Lake cognizant of where the biggest source of offense is coming from. Mounds View equally cognizant as Gispers screams another line shot. And follows up with a service error. And for Mounds View, if you think about all the points they handed to White Bear Lake on the errors. We had one earlier in this set as Meyer cleans up a wet spot. The hardwood can be unforgiving regardless of the sport. Caligari, just like Spinal Tap, is turning this up to 11. Certainly her performance up to 11. Her second ace. In a monster performance. Caligari in the back row. Block goes down as Weimer is sent away. I think Mia Mioya made the play. No, Weimer just hit it into the net. Mia Mioya went for the tap down. Mounds recovers in time. But Layla Otto finishes the play. And this is a rarity. Mounds View calls timeout with White Bear Lake assuming a 10-3 lead. That was a heads-up maneuver by Mounds View. But White Bear Lake follows up pristinely. At the moment, though, they lead Mounds View in kills, 5-3. While that doesn't seem like much, it was Mounds View that held a considerable edge throughout. We got the last part of Tom Wecko's conversation with Mounds View on that timeout. You heard him say 1 point at a time. It's 11-3. So the score was updated during the timeout. Either that or an extra point was added. We have 10-3. The scoreboard has 11-3. And Mounds View, they almost had to have that one. Grelling scores. 11-4 is what they have on the board. And that is what we have as well. Meyer back out there. Nia Mioya. Crossed over the center line. So Mounds View with back-to-back points. Mounds View, another save. Meyer to Nia Mioya. Gispers picking it up. Grelling finishes the play. That timeout proving to be prescient so far as the Mustangs seek to restart their offense. Monica Johnson serves it too hard. White Bear Lake leads 12-6. Trying to wrap this up in 4. Lee. She has recorded an ace in every set, got an assist from the ceiling. But Addison Lee, the junior, those blocking and right side duties. Mounds View recovers. Meyer to Niemioya. That stays inside. And Johnson turns another dig into a kill. That just painted the line. Second time Johnson has recorded a kill. It does happen occasionally for Liberos. Caligari. Ball sent back right away. Niemioya winds up. Picks up the block. Caligari spotted an opening in the back row. The woman of this match for sure. Manzu moves fast. And Kurilov with a deft touch. Good serve by Grelling. White Bear Lake catching up to it. Kurilov just had to tap it ever so softly. Niemioya over the block. Lewin over to the pin. Gisberg didn't get the shot she wanted. Lewin to the middle. Kurilov is there for the finish. (14-9). Play at the net. Mounds View wins that one. They trail by as much as 8, but are inching closer. Over to Niemioya. Dispers again. Deski has been honored from time to time, and Niemioya gets one over the Mounds View block. Got just enough to extend past the reach of Lewin. Line drive, and Mounds View has to bat over a free ball. But Maya Link bashes it into the net. Mounds View does the same. Abby Ruby didn't put enough on it. This is turning into a battle of wits, though, and cunning, because neither team has committed a ton of errors compared to prior sets. Just one hitting error for each team. Lewin, that's the second time she has pulled off that center dump move. where she lobs it behind, and Geske has been caught out of position a couple of times. White Bear Lake will get a point back. And while it's not quite the same as an ace and an error for Lewin, it works the same because she completed the setter dump and then serves it right into the net. And now Meyer serving for White Bear Lake. Back to her form. Ace number 5 for the senior. High service lead, but Lewin able to bring it back. Now Caligari. Gispers. Caligari cross court and down. Mounds will use their second and final timeout. White Bear Lake stepping things up offensively. Technically, they still trail Moundsview 9-8 in kills, but they're hanging with them this time. And that is proving to make a huge difference, a bigger one than anticipated. Caligari. As I'm adding this up, has had 4 or more kills in each set. She has recorded 6 in the last 2. Unofficially, I have her responsible for 21 kills. Of course, when you have more sets, that does give you more opportunities for those higher numbers, but still, 21. You think where White Bear Lake would be without her. It's a pretty big difference. Meyer went over the line. Perfect placement right through a pair of Moundsview players, but could not keep it inside the field of play. The scoreboard incorrectly gave White Bear Lake the point. Now it is correct, 19-13. Now 19-14, Gispers earning her first ace. Moundsview out of timeouts, and Gispers with her second service error of this set, her 5th overall. And Moundsview has bumped the net on serves at least 4 times in every set, including this one. That's a tough one because Moundsview was in position to pick up some momentum. Instead, Caligari swings it firmly back in White Bear Lake's camp as the serve receive got caught up in the ceiling, and that has not been a friend to Moundsview. They have to deal with similar conditions at Moundsview. Like I said, most gyms have that. Irondale in the Suburban East, one school that doesn't have that problem. Caligari. She keeps this up, she might start dancing in the ceiling, just like Lionel Richie all those years ago. A reference I'm sure that she and her family likely have no idea about. Back-to-back aces in unusual form. A more traditional attack leads to a kill for Layla Otto, and White Bear Lake, they can coast to the finish now. But schools, Irondale and Eastridge are a couple in the conference where the ceiling isn't a problem. Others like Woodbury here. Stillwater to an extent. Meyer couldn't send it over. Just the second hitting error for White Bear Lake, though. Forest Lake's another one where the ceiling isn't a problem. I did a volleyball game up there once. But here it's causing fits, at least for Mounds View. But the Mustangs trying to make a fight of it. And Victoria Kurlov comes up huge on the block. Weimer celebrating it. Mounds View needs a big run, though. Do they have enough time? Nia Mioya, her cut goes out of bounds. 3 straight for the Mustangs, but you see the score. Just no room for error with White Bear Lake 2 away. I've seen comebacks, not too many though, from 9 down. Double contact. The first time a double contact call has been issued, and from here, as Maya Link just barely edged it over, I thought I saw what the officials ruled. So White Bear Lake can win it on their next point. Grelling scores. But Mounds View would have to score 6 in a row. And serving is June Wise. She has a few service errors. And there hasn't been a strong figure for aces here. Let's see what happens. White Bear Lake, plenty of match points at their disposal. Kurlov on the off-speed tap. It was back and forth, but the mistakes for Mounds View and strong service games from the likes of Meyer and Caligari combining to put White Bear Lake in this position. Meyer to Otto. That's it, that's all. White Bear Lake, for the first time in at least 10 years, earns a victory over Mounds View. And the reason we say at least 10 years, there was one meeting in that series that does not show up on the historical documents. But that's okay. White Bear Lake, at least this time around, can claim a victory over Mounds View after the green and white had dominated them for so long, as we see the game-winning point from an unlikely figure, Layla Otto. Just 4 kills. Then again, outside of Caligari, anyone else would seem unlikely, but 5 aces for White Bear Lake in the 4th set, just 1 for Mounds View. And the service errors hurting the Mustangs again. They had 4 in every set. But it was a doozy that featured a lot of swings. I think the biggest difference in the 4th set, White Bear Lake, even though Mounds View was able to get ahead of them in the attacking game late, White Bear Lake hung with them. That wasn't the case in the first 3 sets. As you look at the 4th set highlights, Caligari had 6 kills, and Otto had 3. Wasn't too active up until then, but Otto had 3, including the game winner. Caligari also had 3 aces. But I think White Bear Lake, having more success with their attack in the 4th set, gave them the separation they needed. In the other sets, White Bear Lake had to get a little more creative, crafty. in their path to victory. Mounds View, they've got a potent attack, at least in this game. If they can clean up those miscues as we go into October, their fortunes may be brighter, but White Bear Lake picks up a key conference and section win, one that will keep them in the running for at least a 3 seed, as I see Meyer and Ari Jaxie, several catching up and saying hello to a former teammate, a former classmate of theirs, Brooklyn Gispers. Again, Brooklyn was part of this White Bear Lake team a year ago, and judging by the facial expressions, I'd say they're all happy to see each other. Reagan Holm was part of that as well. It's a reminder that no matter the sport, it's an extended family. Whether it's volleyball, basketball, everybody knows everybody. And looks like, oh, I see what's going on. White Bear Lake's going to sign some autographs. Well, we'll have to get in line for that if there's time. And speaking of time, we're out of it here. But we invite you to join us again on Friday for high school football, Matamidi and Tartan. Friday at 7. Until then, for the rest of the SEC crew, this is Mike Beaton reminding you to help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. White Bear Lake beats Mounds View 3-1. Thanks for watching live coverage of high school girls volleyball on SEC.